Hi, in this video Ken and I share our impressions of The Last Blitzkrieg by Multiman Publishing. We also discuss the optional rules for the Battalion Combat Series and give you our recommendations as to which ones are worth applying. Hi, welcome back. I'm Richard Rindack and this is Ken Ruppel, and this is the great game. Today we're going to talk about The Last Blitzkrieg, which we just finished playing. And we did a short little scenario called the Goose Egg, and I think we had a good time with that one. And yeah. I wanted to just share our thoughts about what we thought about the scenario itself. We've already talked about the BCS system. We're big fans of it. The more I play it, actually, the more I like it.
Me too, I really do. It might be my favorite World War II system.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's really good. And this time we tried the optional rules. And we enjoyed the basic system, and we want to try out the optional, see which ones work and which ones don't work. And we will have some things to say about that. So Ken, give me some of your impressions just to start with.
Well, The Last Blitzkrieg is a monster game. Would you call it a monster game? If you played that campaign, that's a monster game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a monster game. So we're on a little bitty section of that. Maybe not even a 22 by 34 section, so maybe half that. Very dense terrain, a lot of roads. You got to, of course, run down the roads, which is
It's the problem the Germans had when they attempted it. The woods
I had in my own
and the rivers.
with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and if you think about, we just have this small little section of the map. It's the attack on St. Vith, but there are actually three objectives: St. Vith, Berg Royland, and Wielsum.
Yeah.
Those are the three objectives that the Germans had to take. They have 5 turns to do it, and of course the heavy hitter is the 9th SS, and they start on the east side of the map, and they have to make it all the way across, and they have to contend with activations and terrain and
mixed formations.
Yeah, all this kind of stuff.
You're going to go through somebody.
I think at the most we had 5 formations, and we only made it to the beginning of turn 5 when the Germans realized, no, there's no way that we were going to make it. But it was fun all the way, and it could easily have gone either way.
Oh, true.
But there are some lessons that we learned in playing this particular scenario.
Absolutely, I would have tried. Now, I don't know if it would have worked, but I would have tried to string my units down the road, maybe 2 or 3 deep, and make you plow through them one at a time.
Yeah.
That's maybe the general strategy I would have taken. And then instead of trying to make, what I tried to do is make more of a linear defense, maybe.
Yeah.
Put my guys in groups, but you can go through that too easy. You have to plug the roads up.
But so playing the Germans, I would say there are a few things to keep in mind. The Germans are powerful, especially the 9 SS. But you start with the 1st SS, a couple of units, and my advice is use the hell out of them. Don't worry about if they get blown to bits, because they're leaving on turn 2. But 9 SS is the key. And what you're hoping for is full activations, which I had precious few.
Yeah, right.
Very few. And second activations. If you're lucky, you get a second activation. And you can do a lot of damage with 9 SS. And you've got 5 turns. And they're pretty, they start out fresh. And they're not missing, I mean, they're pretty well topped off as far as number of men in their formations. So you can afford to take losses, but you got to punch and punch hard. So I would say that's key 1.
You know, the bridges too. I have a feeling that if we played it again, the bridges, how they blow up, might be a little bit different, and then it might change things.
It might change things. So there are 2 key bridges across the Ur River, and when Ken and I played, when I played as the Germans, I was lucky to get 1 that survived, but it really didn't do me any good. It turns out I needed the other one to be in supply. But I think that's a critical factor of the game, and it'll change every time, I suppose, that you try. You might get both, you might get neither. I don't know what I would have done if I got neither, but it's really tough. I guess what you're hoping then is for the 9th SS to come from the north and swoop down. Yeah. And that's how you need the activations, because you need road access. But then there are other vulnerabilities, which is supply. Ninth SS had to be in supply. Your guys had to be in supply.
You ran over my guys a few times on this one. I think maybe 3 times, maybe even more. A couple hard jumps, maybe.
But we were using the optional rules. We were using the soft jump rule. And I think I got 1 hard jump and 2 soft jumps, which meant I thought I had you. And then, nope, it turned out to be a soft jump, and all you do is just move them back a little bit.
Yeah, right.
Do you have any other thoughts about the Allies or the Germans, what you would do different, or any advice?
No, a couple caveats are the radii of the headquarters and how
the command radius?
Yes, the Führers had a 5.
Yeah.
The CCB had a 5. And that's bad.
It's very limited. That means
you can't move out. You're not supposed to purposely move outside your range.
Yeah.
And we obey that.
Yeah.
Try to. And we've found after a few scenarios now. How many scenarios have we played at BCS? Maybe 4 or 5?
BCS. A couple of Air Corps. Panzer's Last Stand 1. This one. We're actually playing this one again.
Yeah, right.
We're not doing it on
because it was
video.
good.
It was good. We wanted to change sides and see if anything turned out different.
I think I got both the bridges on that too.
Yeah, you got both bridges. We'll see how that turns out. Use them to block supply.
Even after all the games that we've played, 4 or 5 scenarios, there's a new rule. Not new rule. A rule we just realized is the optimal distance and the supply trains.
Yeah. So we're still learning rules. And
yes.
People will comment and point out things that even after we've been playing for a long time, we just miss.
We're getting close, though.
Yeah, we're getting close to understanding all the rules.
I think we're getting close.
I think another 5, 6, 7, 8 times.
Yeah, right. We're getting there.
So one thing I want to do in this video is talk about the optional rules. And I kind of made a list here of all the optional rules. And I wrote down my reaction.
I'll give you a thumbs up. I'll give you this, or that.
Okay, so the first one was orders. So as part of the activation, before you actually start activating units, the sequence of play is you get your roll for weather, you get your replacements, your reinforcements, etc., etc. Before you go into activations, you have to give orders. Yeah. And we didn't fully get what the implications were on the first turn, because if you're going to move, first of all, you have to give all the orders for all the formations before you even start moving one of them.
Right.
But if you're going to move, you have to indicate the location you're moving to, and this is for your headquarters, and any waypoints along the way. And you can't change your mind afterwards.
Yeah.
And this feels to me more realistic, right? Because you start your day, and Army Command is probably saying, okay, you go here, you go there, you do this, you dig in, etc.
It's the little fog of war that you can have in this game.
Yeah. And then everything changes. Anyway, I agree with that, because you're giving the orders and it turns out, oh, damn, I gave the order to do this.
Right.
And now it doesn't really make that much sense. Yeah. But you live with it, and I think that makes
They're simple orders that don't take long time, and they do matter.
And I think it's worth the effort to use the orders. It definitely enhances. Yeah, it enhances the game plan. Yeah. Okay. Next one is activation, which is kind of their variation on the chit pull system. We didn't even try it. We play other games with chit pull, and
what happened was we went to the first activation and looked at it and tried to employ it to our game and said this is not how we play, and then said no.
Yeah. The next one was the unit traffic rule. Okay, I agree. Highly recommended.
Especially in a bulge game.
Yeah. So what basically the unit traffic rule says, if you've got a unit passing through another unit on the road, you have to pay the other terrain cost unless it's a deployed unit of the formation that you're activating. And keeping in mind that if you have to end up within command radius in your movement, and when you deploy your headquarters, it's on the move side. So moving through your headquarters, you have to pay the non-road cost, the regular terrain cost, which means if you've got AV and you're passing through the woods, which there's a lot of woods in the bulge, that means you got to stop.
So what I'm thinking is, if you can line up, like I'm saying, if you can line up the 7th Armor, and he's got to drive his tanks down this road, he's got to hit them with an engagement, wham, and then you're going to get a stop or maybe a traffic marker, and then who's going to come after you? No one.
But even working with your own guys, trying to deploy your guys, if you're playing with the unit traffic rule, I think it makes more sense. It adds realism, and it means you can't just run your guys all over the place, to the maximum distance and like have perfect intel.
The order you move your units
matters.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially with your headquarters, because you can't move out of your range. So maybe you want to move your headquarters first, but he gets into a position where you can't move your infantry through it.
Yeah. I thought it added a lot, and it really changed the outcome of how we would.
All right.
If we were playing without that rule, we would have had a lot more freedom. Maybe more freedom that the actual commanders in the actual event had. So I think it adds to the realism. But nevertheless, thumbs up, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Good.
All right, good. So the next optional rule that we used was soft jumps. So what do you think? Yes, I agree. Soft jumps was a great rule because without the soft jump rule, the enemy has perfect intelligence of where you are.
Yeah.
And that's not realistic.
They become an arrowhead.
Yeah, you're going straight for the guy.
Yeah.
You know where he is. You're going straight for him.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's how it happened. I mean, the headquarters is a small unit. They're somewhat in the back. If you run into them,
skedaddle or even.
Yeah, but if in real life you had jumped them, it would be like almost like a surprise. It's like, oh, look what we found here.
You're shooting up their headquarters all of a sudden, right?
Yeah. Right, but I imagine it's unexpected. Anyway, so the soft jump rule, big thumbs up. The next rule, realistic movement, which we actually did not move.
I'm going to say this, and the reason why is because I would try that. I don't mind doing that because sometimes when I move a dude, I don't like to. If I go on to a next guy, I don't like to. I will remove guys that I'm currently moving, but once I kind of commit to something, I don't like to go back and recommit my guys. But that's just like why.
So
I don't. It's not a deal breaker for me though.
So the way that works is if you pick up a guy and move him, you don't get any takebacks.
Yeah, like chess.
No takebacks. You let go of the guy. That's it. You've
depends,
moved.
Varying degrees of that.
Yeah.
Because I'll remove guys that I'm currently moving. But if I move to a new guy, I generally leave it at that.
Now,
but that's just me.
I understand the spirit of the rule because, again, the way gamers play, you're trying to eke out every possible advantage down to the extra
half
point that you need
points.
for the odds, or the half movement point to get you exactly where you want to be in the right position in the right way, and that's not how formations work. Yeah, sometimes you blunder, and that's what happened in real life. There were blunders along the way.
That's just not a deal breaker. I take it or leave it.
But on the other hand, it's not the way we play. So okay, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Kind of mixed review on that, but we didn't use it. We ended up not using it. Here's the big one. Oh, no, wait, not yet. So the next one, engagement at greater than 1 hex. What that means is if you've got an AV unit or AV units doing engagement, if you're not adjacent, if you're at range, a result that results in both sides taking loss ends up being no result. I'm kind of half and half on that.
I am too. It occurred once, and I think it occurred when you had range on me, and I had no range on you to begin with.
Right, and I ended up getting a no result.
Yeah, so it benefited me, and I thought that was kind of odd at the time. But the rule, this is how it goes.
I give it a mixed review because I don't know that it necessarily adds. You're already rolling a die.
Right. It cuts down the tank lossage.
Yeah, it does cut down that. But in terms of realism, you're already rolling dice to find out how the engagement turned out.
I like engaging tanks at distance. That's no problem.
Yeah, especially this is German.
Yeah, no problem with that. This is good.
They have good tanks.
Yeah.
Okay, so mixed result on that, but we did use it. And okay, here's the big one: plan fatigue. Yeah. I wanted to try it out. It sounded intriguing, but I realized before we even started playing that if you do that, it results in a fundamental change in the way the system was designed to play, because it eliminates all the negatives of being coordinated, mixed, crossing streams. Also eliminates the disadvantage of using tracks for supply.
And the cliffhanger role of the fatigue. I like that.
Yeah, well, that's right? Exciting, but
it is to be for some reason.
But if you don't have to worry about being mixed and coordinated, then this ends up being any other game where you don't have to worry about formations. Formations become basically
running through guys.
They become meaningless.
That's one of the hallmarks of the thing.
This is one of the hallmarks of the game.
System, yeah.
And I felt that the planned fatigue rule did away with that, and so we decided, no, we're not going to use that. And then finally, we have standoff versus red support.
I don't know.
We never used it. It never came. It never came up. And
we don't have any standoff in this system.
And it's a more complicated. It's kind of like defensive fire before you do offensive fire, and it sounds kind of interesting, but it never came up for us. So actually, don't know. Anyway, I'm a big fan of the BCS system, the way it works, with the addition of some of the optional rules. And that's what I have to say about that.
Like a good scenario, great game.
That's all for now. Thanks for watching. This has been The Great Game.